Week 2 of the NFL season is in the books, and we are on to week 3. We're previewing the Thursday night game between the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins coming up on the Statement Games Thursday Night Podcast. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Joel Worth. That is Marc Solino. Marc, how you doing tonight?
Doing all right. I'm probably going to sound like a little bit of an old fart, but doesn't it just seem like yesterday we were all pumped up for week number 1? Now, here we are. It's literally week number 3. This season, like every single year, it just flies by, but it's fun, but just I'm trying to enjoy the football season. I'm not doing that good of a job, but I'm trying.
Yeah, rough weekend for your Giants, but probably the most, maybe I can't imagine we get a more entertaining game this year than the Giants and Cowboys put on Sunday.
No, it sucked. It's not entertaining. It's entertaining if you win.
Yeah, for a neutral observer, it was a pretty entertaining ball.
Fair enough.
All right. So we are here to talk about statement games and the Thursday night game. So let's bring up the board here. And let me get this situated correctly. There we go.
All right. It seemed like Buffalo is playing every single primetime game every single week.
I think there's a stretch like later in the season where Philly gets like 5 straight primetime games or something like that. So, yeah, I mean, they played the Sunday night game on week 1, and that Sunday night game was Baltimore-Buffalo, obviously, and now Baltimore's got the Monday night game, so they're on an island game as well. So,
yeah, I guess last week was a 1:00 game against the Jets, but
yeah,
we are again another primetime game for Buffalo.
Yeah, but you're right. The season does, man, it flies by, and
it's crazy. We're coming up on October,
right? I saw a thing that said the older you get, like literally, time does seem to, the way your brain processes visual images or something speeds up. So time literally does go faster when you're old like us. But
so that is all
right. I'm calling myself old, brother.
Giants stink. Now I'm old. Life really isn't getting any much better for me here, Joel. This was supposed to be one thing that we kind of do just to kill some time, talk a little football, bring the platform back into the public eye. And after week 3, I'm already ready to quit.
Well, I don't know about that.
I'm just complaining.
I'm with you. All right. So this week we've got Miami at Buffalo. Miami backs against the wall, right? They're 0-2. Got another division game. They lost a division game on Sunday. Got another division game coming up this week. You go 0-3 in the conference, you are in a lot of trouble. So this is really kind of a must-win for the Dolphins.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask. I mean, what do you think? I mean, if this team gets blown out, does this coach get fired? Is that possible?
I think it's very possible. I think all these in-season firings come down to 2 things, right? It's, have you lost the locker room? That's the most important thing. And
that's true. Which he
is there. Is there really any hope? Is there any reason, to think that you can still make the playoffs, whatever, and that you want to fire a coach and have to pay his contract and bring in another guy on an interim basis? And do you have a potential coach in waiting that you want to bring in and see what he can do? So I don't know that Miami has anything like that. I don't know that, but yeah, 3 games into the season, coming off, you'd have the extra time with the 10-day layoff coming up Thursday night game. I think if they get blown out, which could happen, there's a legit chance that McDaniel gets fired.
I live in the Long Island area, but there is enough Dolphin fans in the area and where that team does gain some traction in the New York sports radio kind of circuit. And there have been like a couple of calls. I mean, granted, it's not the Miami kind of sports circuit, but there's been some rumblings that, given the way that the whole Jalen Ramsey trade kind of went down and how he was showing up for late to meetings and how McDaniels wasn't necessarily being viewed as a disciplinarian within the locker room, and certain players getting preferential treatment, whether it's Tyreek Hill. Yeah, I think this could be something or someone that's treading on very thin ice if this game doesn't break well for them. And if I'm going to be completely honest with you, I don't think it's going to break well for them tonight. Not tonight or on Thursday night, given the way that Buffalo is playing, especially from an offensive perspective.
Yeah, it's definitely, this is not the spot you want to be in with your back against the wall. Having
No,
to Buffalo, one of the hottest teams in the league, one of the best teams in the league. So yeah, it's always tough to play in Buffalo, right? There's a great crowd, great fan base, always a
yeah,
tough place to
prime time
play.
game. It's not a 1 o'clock
Primetime game.
afternoon on a Sunday game.
Yep. So yeah, this is we'll see. I mean, if the Dolphins can just be competitive, I think that's probably a win for them. But whether they can be is the open question right now. So let's take a look at the game. Game totals here on the Statement Games demo app site, I should say. Total of 48.5. Bills are 8.5-point favorites.
So I'll
That's a
just
big
go ahead and
spread.
jump in and hopefully, well, if I'm stealing some of your thunder, I really don't
No,
care. But I kind of,
go right ahead.
want the pick, just because when the system produced like this line, usually what we're trying to do from a technology perspective is get the game kind of published as quickly as we possibly can within reason.
Sure.
And we've even highlighted some of these high level points kind of last week. You can actually tell. I think since the initial lines came out, which was extremely late on Sunday night, early Monday morning. And as we publish right here, you can see a point spread of 8. This line has already jumped up to 12 if you take a look at the spreads as
No,
we record this
I
show
haven't even
on a
looked.
Tuesday. So, I mean, yeah, I'm going to take the swing of the difference right now. So I'm jumping in right now and taking that first pick. Give me Buffalo. We'll win by over 8 points when considering that when you take a look at some of the splits books that I specifically pay attention to, which would be BetMGM and, of course, something like FanDuel, I'm looking at like 12, 12 and a half. So the fact that Statement Games is giving me 8, I'll jump on that and put that as my number 10 pick, all day.
Yeah, so I'm just like, you are correct. This has jumped up. BetMGM's got it 12.5. Buffalo. Caesars got it 12. Bet365's got it at 11.5. FanDuel and FanDuel's got it also at 11.5, 12.5 on DK. So yeah,
Yeah,
this
note to self, maybe we should start kind of like, anticipating some of the things within the roadmap and where maybe some of these things, update in real time. Usually the way that we're working it is once the lines are kind of published, we really don't like changing it unless it's a very big, glaring, dramatic error.
right.
Usually these things are within a point and a half, but you can see right here, this is almost like a 4 point swing. So from testing purposes, if you're just looking to have like a little fun and within the little group that we like to compete against, I'm taking that as my number 10 pick. Short week,
Yeah,
Miami doesn't
absolutely.
look good. Buffalo puts up 40 points in week number 1. They put up another 30 points kind of like last week. They're going to score points. I don't think Miami can stop them.
I don't think Miami can stop anybody, to be honest. I think they give up touchdowns on their first two drives. They give scores in every drive to Indianapolis, gave up touchdowns in their first two drives against New England on Sunday. Yeah, this is a bad defense. So I think my first pick is going to be I want the over in this game. 48 and a half is a big number. But obviously Buffalo can get there. They scored 41 in the opener against Baltimore. Obviously, that was a game script that kind of got out of hand, but still, that's a team that could put up points in a hurry. They kind of took their foot off the gas a little bit against the Jets on Sunday, I think, but
I agree.
because the Jets weren't really competitive. So, but we know this Buffalo team can put points on the board. And if Miami actually truly, is going to come out backs against the wall, scratching and clawing, then they're going to have to do it with their offense. So, uh, yeah, I think this game's. I think 48 and a half is a good number to go over.
I like it too. And to be honest with you, I'm really not looking at any other categories right now. As we alluded to, week one, 40 points. Week two, 30. If I take a look at the Buffalo number on itself from an offensive perspective, 28 and a half. Yeah, I know it's kind of hovering around that 30 kind of mark, but if I'm just doing basic law of averages, 30 and 40, average point basis of 35 points playing at home, short week. Give me Buffalo over 28 and a half points just from an offensive perspective.
Yeah, I definitely like that. And like, you know, traditionally betting parlance, if you're going to take the favorite, you generally want to take the over as well. Uh, because of the way the game script is
And you
probably going
saw
to
what
go.
Miami did last week as well. It's not like they're completely exempt from giving up points from a special teams perspective as well. So maybe you're lucky on that front as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That back to back kickoff was a punt return and then kickoff return for a touchdown. That
Pretty
was
crazy.
that was pretty crazy as well. Yeah. Um, I'm gonna go. I want to do something with Devon Hn just because I think he is
Sure.
the best thing the Dolphins have going. Um, Touchdown prop is kind of tough. I guess I'm going to take the over 42 and a half receiving yards. He's such an important part of their receiving offense. I mean, he's basically taking the Jonnu Smith role. Um, they traded Johnny Smith that don't really have another tight end except for a couple of blocking backs or drop blocking tight ends. So that role has really gone to Devon Hn, and he's done well with it. They love giving him the quick outs, the quick swings, passes, and just letting him get into space. And we've seen this, this Buffalo defense. Not they look they look good on Sunday, but week one against Baltimore, they look kind of old and slow. They were getting run over by Derrick Henry, so I don't think this is a team that's going to do well against a back like Devon Hn.
Fair point. So
So yeah,
you can't
there's a
really
lot I
knock
could go
those.
with, but yeah,
It's just scary when you kind of have two people that are completely in lockstep with one another
yeah,
on a specific game. It's almost like, I don't know, we're coming across as like too confident. We're not really finding any things to disagree about with this game. So I guess I don't want to put words in your mouth over here. It just sounds like me, we're just completely down on Miami until
yeah.
proven
I guess
otherwise.
I'm down on Miami's defense. I think they can still be a very good offensive team. That I think you give them some time. It's just like very bad week one. I still think Tua is fine as a quarterback. I don't think he's ever going to be elite, but I think he's fine. So I think they started to come around and start clicking a little bit on Sunday. I think you give them time, they'll get things going. It's just right now you don't have time, and you're like you said, your back is against the wall, and you've got to start producing. And I just don't know that I trust their defense and special teams enough to be able to stop Buffalo in this game to make it a manageable total that they can score enough points to top.
Let me ask you this: do you trust this tight end, Darren Waller, at all to see any type of game action ever?
I'm going to say no. When he signed or he got traded, actually,
No,
there was
came out
kind
of
of a
time.
mad, yeah, there was kind of a mad dash in the dynasty world to kind of get him saw because he was just sitting down at the waivers, obviously because he was a free agent, hadn't played last year. I didn't care. So no, I like he hasn't been relevant as a fantasy asset since like 2000. He's just or not 2000, 2020. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Since the start of the decade, basically since the COVID year. So, I mean, it's been that long since he's been a productive player. Missed the entire year last year. Was dinged up the year before that. Basically retired because he had so many injuries and whatever was going on with him and Kelsey Plum. But we'll leave that to the dirt sheets. But yeah, I think it's really hard to come off of a layoff like that and at his age come back and be a productive player. So I don't see it coming at all, to be honest.
and that's why I kind of want to just highlight on that, because if you take a look at the tight end category, you can see that the system has published Darren Waller props.
Okay.
So as we continue to work through this stuff over here, just keep in mind that if you do decide to make one of those selections and he does not play, all of those picks will be more kind of incorrect. However, if you might, I don't know, I was thinking that you could potentially get lucky in where if he plays a play and then because he's so fragile and frail, goes down after play one, it could be a couple of very easy underplays, but I don't think it's really worth the risk in making any of those types of selections because ultimately you're just not going to have an opportunity to earn any points by making those selections.
Yeah, he hasn't even been active yet. And just looking at the blurb here, it says he's unlikely to play week 3. So,
Which
yeah,
is
that
it's always
doesn't.
hard to get that first Thursday game out. We're still kind of working on things correctly.
For sure. Yeah.
We gotta get it out, but technically injury reports haven't kind of come out at the time that we're publishing this games. But hey, you know what? This is all part of the growth effort and the growing pains of the platform as we continue to try and do our best in bringing it back.
Yeah. And I think that's a good. I think that's a good way to handle it. Is if if he doesn't play, if he's just inactive, then all the unders just become
Well, if
wash
anybody's got
against him.
any comments, I'd love to kind of hear the comments below because there's one of two things that we can do. We can make all of them either correct or incorrect. I mean, we could go the other way as well, but just to give everybody a fair advantage. But then you would have to actually know that if you pick a player that you know is not going to play, yeah, maybe keeping it incorrect is better. Now that I've talked myself through it,
Yeah. Sometimes he's got to say things out
But
loud.
from a user experience perspective, it might just be more fun to give everybody free points. But thinking, I really don't want to hear about the customer service complaints that could potentially be coming down the
Yeah.
pipeline
That
anyway. So
that
different
could
story
get
for a different day.
that could get a little overwhelming.
Correct.
I'm just going to throw in a little Dalton Kincaid under 3 receptions because I always like betting against Dalton Kincaid to do anything.
I mean, if I'm throwing in a bonus one over here, I just the way that he's kind of playing, and I understand that they could get up over here, but I don't know. To me, the what is it, 232? Josh Allen over 232 passing kind of yards,
237.
237. He can have that in the first half.
If he pushes it, yeah, he just hasn't really. Obviously, last week he didn't really have to. It was James Cook week, and he didn't. The Jets never threatened, so
Well,
he
maybe I
never
was
really
getting a little
had
too
to. But
excited, but yeah, I mean, I still anytime I can kind of get Josh Allen at an over number that's below 250, it just
yeah, that's a very
pops,
reasonable number for sure.
So that's what I would kind of look at. So
I like
um,
that call. Yeah,
I'm
and
just
that's assuming that the Dolphins can kind of push them and stay in the game. And because if that happens, yeah, then I think that's probably an easy. I think the only thing I'd worry about for that not coming is if the Dolphins just don't show up, completely no show, and then again it becomes like the Jets game on Sunday where he just doesn't have to do anything and they can just run the ball all day. And that's the only way I don't see that hitting.
yeah. So if I'm actually, I'll still kind of one more if I go over to the kicking kind of position, just because I think that Miami is going to put a premium on scoring or getting touchdowns as opposed to field goals. I'm taking the Miami kicker under the field goal total. I don't think they're going to utilize, or they're going to do their best not to, if they're somewhat remotely close to getting a first down or continuing a drive or going for six as opposed to three. I don't think the kicking game is actually even an option.
Yeah, I don't see the Dolphins kicker in here.
Oh, you
So
know what? That's all right. It was too.
Riley, was it Riley Patterson in for Sanders?
All right. You know what? Looks like. Well, if it was there, that's what I would be picking.
I think that's a good call as well. Yeah, and I like Matt Prater over. That dude's got a monster leg, and they are
Yeah,
not afraid to let
Mitch.
him. They're not afraid to let him try. So, end a half, something like that. I could see him trying to bomb one in there. So, yeah, so that's our preview of the
Yeah,
game.
we can leave it
I think
there.
we're
Yeah,
kind
we
of
can leave
on,
it at
on the
that. We
same
can fill in
page.
the remainder of the picks kind of offline or something like that, so somebody doesn't necessarily see our full card and make fun of our
Exactly,
picks.
exactly. And
So
I
we
think
can
we would
connect
probably
with
have maybe slightly different cards if we each did our own. So,
correct.
but I think they would paint similar pictures.
And I'm still for the year. I'm still kind of like I'm all right. I'm 2-2, so another 1 for 1 last week. So I
Nice.
haven't necessarily hit it out of the park just yet. But then again, I'm not necessarily forcing somebody to mortgage the house just yet either.
I did go 2 for 2 last week, but that was because my Packers were playing in the game, and uh, so I would expect myself to go 2 for 2 there. So uh, got that in and got a win and hit the Packers, got a win and a cover. So and I think the longest pass for Jaden Daniels I think was under 36. So yeah, I went 2 for 2 last week. You were 1 for 2, so we were pretty dialed in on that one as well. So I think we get a
Right,
good
I was
feel for
one
this
for
one.
one, not one
One
for
for
two.
one. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Let's not, putting an L in front of my picks column over here. I haven't won a week yet. I haven't lost a week yet. 2-2 for the year, and although it's going by quick, as we alluded to, still a lot of picks that need to be made between now and week 17 or 18.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. As fast as it's still going, we've still got a long way to go. So
It's true.
all right, that's it for this week. Mark, let everybody know where they can find you and what you got going on.
Sure, I can be found on X at simply at Marc. Make sure that you're spelling my name with a C, so it's at MARC, and then my last name, which is SAULINO. I'll also be responding to a lot of the at statement games comments and messages as well. So if you happen to comment on statement games and you see if I can reply, it's probably me that's kind of answering any type of questions or anything like that. And I was hopeful that I'd be able to make some new announcements this week. It looks like I have to wait one more week, but as of right now, if you're interested in helping us out and just testing out the technology and offering up some feedback, the gaming technology that we're displaying on this show right now can still be found at demo.statementgames.com.
Yeah, easy enough. And I see you got your Twitter handle in the banner this week, so
Okay. I'm learning.
it makes it easier. Yeah. I'm Joel Worth. You can find me at the Joel Worth on Twitter and on Blue Sky. You can find me all over on DFSG Plus. We got a DFS show coming out this week. So with my buddy Johnny Freaking Fantasy. So looking forward to that. So check us out. So do us a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel. And like Mark said, check out demo.statementgames.com. We'd love to have you in the pools and compete against as many people as we can, get as many eyes on the product as possible, and get as many comments, suggestions as we can. All right, that's it for this week. Thanks everybody for checking in, and we will see you next week for the Statement Games Thursday night preview.